There's no denying that tomorrow was a big day for Microsoft and Activision. It would seem that if the CMA approves the deal tomorrow, which is what we all think they're leaning towards, or at least most of us think they're leaning towards, then the Activision Microsoft merger will likely go through. Let's talk about what Microsoft is preparing for, but also because by the time you see this video, that might have been announced. We're also going to look at Microsoft's financials because those just came out. There's some good stuff and some stuff that wasn't so good for the brand as they move away from the console market. Let's dive into it all right now. So if you're wondering just how everybody's feeling over at Activision, Lulu Ching Maservi tweeted the following: "Me waiting for tomorrow," and it was a sweaty teddy bear. I don't know where she got this, but whatever. The joke is that she's nervous about the decision for the CMA, and I believe the EU is also going to be posting their decision basically any day now about the Microsoft Activision Blizzard merger and whether or not it will go through. Now, regardless of what happens, it's believed that they're going to pass this no matter what. Florian Mueller tweeted the other day, Microsoft preparing to close Activision deal despite FTC suit, according to sources. This is from New York Post. They're going to cram this down the FTC's throats, a source close to the situation said. Entertaining read, but the same reporter thought in December the FTC might clear. I don't think they could close. A meritless FTC lawsuit doesn't count. It's just at the beginning, the first few months of a review, they couldn't close. Now, I believe during that initial call with the FTC, they even said, we're going to close this with or without the FTC approval. You can go check that out in the archives, or just, I'll put it up here. And it seems that, yeah, that is true. So let's read through this New York Post article. Microsoft preparing to close Activision deals despite FTC suit, according to sources. Microsoft is making plans to complete its $69 billion Activision Blizzard acquisition. I read it out of order, whatever. Despite the Federal Trade Commission's December move to block the deal over antitrust concerns, the Post has learned. Now, remember, the Post is actually one of those outlets where I read one of their articles and it was just way off the mark in terms of one of their conclusions. So already I'm taking this with a grain of salt. Let's read on. Microsoft is feeling optimistic about securing UK approval for its acquisition, which has been attacked by FTC chair Lina Khan as an unfair mega merger that will stifle competition across the video game sector this week, according to sources close to the tech giant. Where's the actual quote? With approval from the UK's Competition and Markets Authority expected this week, Microsoft is hopeful that a final approval from the EU Commission will come next month, the source close to the situation. That in turn could make the challenge from the FTC, which on December 8th filed a complaint to stop the deal, an uphill battle. They are going to cram this down the FTC's throats, a source close to the situation said. If it gains European approvals, Microsoft's plan is to quickly close its merger of the Call of Duty maker for $95 a share. I believe it's been trading at around 75, so that's a hefty profit margin for anybody who happens to own stock. Reading a little further down, that was not seen as a major. The CMA has been the toughest regulator overall the last several years with tech deals, the source close to the situation said. A big concern for the regulators has been that Microsoft will keep Activision games only on Microsoft's Game Pass subscription service, hurting competitors. We know they've said that. By law, the FTC only needs to raise serious doubtful questions about a merger to get an injunction, the source said. But as a practical matter, the judge is evaluating the merits of the case, and that is ongoing. So no matter what happens, if the CMA approves it tomorrow and the EU is already leaning towards approval, it's basically done at that point. And I believe Microsoft's just going to go full steam ahead. Now, there were some other reports. Microsoft is making plans to complete a $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard despite the Federal Trade Commission's December move to block the deal. Old news, sort of. Let's look at the revenue. So Microsoft's gaming business has posted or 3.59 billion in quarterly revenue, reportedly making it Xbox's second best Q3 ever. A lot of people are focused on one of the other statistics, though. The fact that Xbox sold 30% less fewer consoles in the market. And a lot of people are focusing in on that, but they've been moving away from the console market for so long. PlayStation had an amazing quarter. I think Zubitech broke it down really well. He said the following. Q3 highlights. Revenue, $52.9 billion, up 7%. Operating income, $22.4 billion, up 10%. Net income, $18.3 billion, up 9%. Cloud revenue, $22.1 billion, up 16%. Xbox content and services revenue, up 3%. Hardware down 30%, and gaming revenue down 4%. Now, all in all, I have to imagine that $52.9 billion in revenue is good. Content and services being up is good. Hardware being down is a little bit expected, but 30% is extremely bad. There's no two ways about it. Xbox Series X and S just stopped moving off of shelves, it would seem. But it seems mostly positive for the company going forward. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella on Xbox in Q3 2023 fiscal. We set third quarter records for monthly active users and devices, nearly $1 billion in revenue from subscriptions this quarter too. So all of their subscriptions are accounting for $1 billion in revenue. That does a lot to make up that concern that everybody has. Well, how is Game Pass profitable? Well, they're making $1 billion in revenue. I figure you can spend millions of that $1 billion and still come out on top within those prices. Microsoft is expecting gaming revenue growth in Q4 2023 in mid to high single digits. You have to remember that Starfield is coming out in that time. According to CFO Amy Hood, low to mid-teens Xbox content and services revenue growth, thanks in part to Xbox Game Pass and third-party content. Lots of stuff is coming out over the next several months. Final Fantasy won't be hitting Xbox, but there are other games. I believe the previous gen Hogwarts Legacy is coming, and that's been an extremely popular title. I actually have this list somewhere. Just one second. So some of the notable things just in the next few months, Redfall's hitting, Diablo's hitting, Street Fighter's hitting, and those are cross-platform titles. So that's just in the next few weeks throughout May, maybe touching on June, right? No Final Fantasy games on Xbox, though. And apparently there was a deal signed where some CMA documents revealed that no, don't expect Final Fantasy on Xbox in the near future. So I have to imagine that this deal is done. Microsoft, all in all, positive, I'm guessing, for their numbers. I have to chew on them a little bit more. But Microsoft is touting a lot of big wins, but where does the gaming sector fall within that? $1 billion in revenue sounds like a good thing. How much of that is profit is always the question, right? Anyway, that is your update. I wanted to make one of these. It's been hard to adjust since I've been back at work. So I hope you miss me, and I hope this helped inform you right before we get to the reveal, which is coming tomorrow, apparently. And hopefully I can make a video about that promptly for y'all. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when it goes live. I appreciate you all very much. If you want to become a member, memberships are turned on. Thank you to all of the members that support. If you want to join, click that join button right down there. I'm going to link you back to that FTC call where I believe they said they're going to push this through with or without the FTC support. So check that out again, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.